It's a warm day on the Caribbean island of Puerto Rico. A farmer goes to tend to his flock of goats on a nearby hill. What he sees nearly stops him in his tracks. Goat after goat lying still, stiff, lifeless. No sign of a struggle, no sign of a fight, just two deep marks in the goat's neck. We'll be diving into this goat vampire phenomenon tonight on Midnight Cryptid Club. Hola mi gente y bienvenido a Midnight Cryptid Club. I'm your host, Natalie Rose, and today we're kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month with one of the most infamous cryptids of all time. But before we jump in, if you're not a member of the club just yet, please hit that like button for me and be sure to subscribe because we cover a different monster every night at midnight. Today, we are discussing one of the most feared, fascinating, and dare I use the word iconic cryptids ever talked about, La Chupacabra. Literally meaning goat sucker, this monster is said to have terrorized farmers in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the southwestern US. While it is one of the most well-known cryptids, there's actually a lot of conflicting information about the creature, so we'll be doing our best to piece together a chronology of events. In 1975, there was a series of attacks on livestock in Moca, Puerto Rico. At the start, the phenomenon was attributed to a monster that they titled El Vampiro de Moca, or the Vampire of Moca. It was theorized that the killings could have been committed by a cult practicing Santeria or something similar, as the goats seemed to have had their blood sucked out entirely dry. But the first sightings that were formally attributed to the Chupacabra began to occur in 1995. In April of that year, 8 sheep were found dead on one Puerto Rican farm, each with 3 small puncture wounds in their chests. They had been drained of all their blood. Other reports and sightings began in the middle of the island around Morovis and Orocovis, and quickly spread from there. A woman named Madeline Tolentino reported seeing the creature in the Puerto Rican town of Canovanas, where as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. From there, several more encounters were reported throughout the island. While each was a little different, the MO was about the same. Over the course of 1995 to 1996, some 2,000 small animal deaths were attributed to the Chupacabra. This included all kinds of animals. Calves, sheep, dogs, pigs, geese, chickens, turkeys, rabbits, and, of course, goats. Mayor Jose Soto organized multiple hunts to find the creature. He reported to Reuters that people were really frightened. In another story from Caguas, a startled homeowner caught a fleeting glimpse of the goat sucker. Described as having huge red eyes and hairy arms, the creature allegedly broke into the bedroom of a house through a window, tore apart a child's stuffed teddy bear, and left a puddle of slime and a single piece of rancid meat on the windowsill before disappearing, which is really gross. These initial encounters in the 90s were just brief sightings of the creature. People would only catch a glimpse of the monster before or after an attack. The Chupacabra was described as looking gargoyle-like, standing 3 or 4 feet tall with gray skin and large black or red eyes. It was said to have almost a reptilian appearance, hunched over and scaly. Some even described it as looking kind of like a kangaroo, with a row of black spines going down its back. Spanish television picked up the Chupacabra story and ran with it, and soon sightings of the creature spread across Latin America and into some southern US states like Texas and Arizona. But something strange happened once the story hit the mainland. Descriptions of the creature changed from this reptilian kangaroo-looking thing to something completely different. These new sightings described the monsters as bluish, hairless, sickly-looking canines that farmers and ranchers would find attacking their animals. They started appearing so often that they kind of overtook the initial Puerto Rican reports and became the version of the Chupacabra that we probably think of today. This canine version seemed to be less shy than its predecessor, and even other cryptids, as there are not only more sightings, but also some alleged captures of the creature recorded. There have actually been enough killed that there are taxidermied specimens of the creature, but it's hard to know what is fact and what is fiction. People have interesting theories when it comes to the more reptilian version of the monster. Some have drawn attention to the Caribbean Primate Research Center on the island, and they try to argue that maybe the sightings were a result of something seen because of a genetic mutation gone awry, but that's been met with a good amount of skepticism. We do, however, have a pretty logical explanation for the canine cabra. Specimens found or taxidermied have proven to be dogs or coyotes with Sarcoptes scabiei, or mites, which can cause most of the features associated with the chupacabra, like being left with very little fur, thickened skin, and a really bad smell. University of Michigan biologist Barry O'Connor actually theorized that the attacks on the goats could make sense in this case, because these animals are really weakened by the parasites and have a hard time hunting. He substantiates this with evidence that the holes in the neck do actually correspond with canine-like teeth. Another potential explanation for these chupacabra sightings could be people who have caught sight of a wild Xoloitzcuintle. Xolos are a breed of Mexican hairless dogs, not usually found in the wild, but one still could have gotten loose and been the inspiration for some of these sightings. Their skin is naturally kind of a bluish-red color, so it probably would look like something pretty scary if you saw it at night. The legacy of the chupacabra continues in all manner of media, like films, shows, and even some video games. Netflix actually has a show, Chupa, that released in 2023 about a boy who befriends a chupacabra at his grandparents' house. It was actually later discovered that Madeline Tolentino, the woman who caught sight of the chupacabra many years before, had actually just seen the film Species before she caught sight of the alien-esque chupacabra outside of her home, so that led to some to believe that this whole sighting could have just been a hoax. The San Antonio Zoo in Texas also has a permanent chupacabra exhibit that they debuted in 2020. There, visitors can witness chupacabras in their natural habitat, or at least the statues of chupacabras. These statues of the creatures are actually pretty creepy looking, with multiple rows of spines down their backs and these kind of bulbous growths all over. A little gross, but still kind of cool. There are still plenty of sightings happening all over the world today, so who knows? You may also run into one of these. Guys, thank you all so much for joining me today, and I cannot wait to share more of these myths and legends with you all. Have you, or anyone you know, had an experience with the chupacabra? I would love to know down below. I will see you next week, but for now, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the monsters bite. Heritage one. Okay, have proven to have most of the creatures. Is he French?